Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about one of the best resources you could be using when you are building up your decks. This is incredibly important to kind of keep in mind. It's something that not many people are completely aware of, and it is an insanely helpful tool. You don't need to be using, Architect to be able to use it. I just use Architect to build my decks, and this is the deck that we're going to be talking in the context of, but it can refer to literally any deck you are working on, whether you're building it fresh, whether you're upgrading a precon like I'm doing here. I'm going in upgrading my Aminatou Veil Piercer precon. It's going to just be an incredibly important tool that you can have under your belt to build up a deck or upgrade it. And I just don't think enough people are completely aware of the sheer power of this tool. So before we get into it though, a couple things. First up, we are so close to hitting 7,000 subscribers. In fact, we are so close to hitting our goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So two things. Thank you so much for everyone who's supporting. This is a free way you can support the channel. Just help us grow. Getting this kind of stuff helps us grow up and get, sponsored videos. We got to go down to Wizards down, like the exclusive Wizards event down in Melbourne here. We got to do so much stuff, and the more subscribers and more views and stuff we're getting, it just helps do all of that amazing stuff. So thank you so much. And if you aren't subscribed, why not? This could be the last video you see from me. If you don't subscribe, then I might be gone forever and you'll miss out on all this amazing content, because YouTube's algorithm is all over the place. You might not get my channel recommended to you anymore. So subscribe, share the video around, all that kind of stuff. The next thing is talking about supporting the channel. We have just gone and upgraded our Patreon. At the moment, this is all in Australian dollars. So if you're in US, it's going to be cheaper than this. It just kind of automatically scales it up. But we've got a whole bunch of great perks in here that you can get just for supporting the channel. For $2, $2 Australian dollars, $1 US, you can get ad block absolution. You don't have to feel guilty about using ad block while you're watching my videos. You shouldn't anyway. I don't mind if you don't use, if you use ad block, go ahead. But this is a way that if you feel guilty about it, then you can support the channel just doing $1 US a month. We've got other things in here. You can get exclusive deck text, so see the decks that we're working on for upcoming videos or content. You can see first looks at upcoming projects, so tier lists, spreadsheets, top 10s, all that kind of stuff. Up here you can start getting some deck reviews, whether it's 1 monthly, 3 monthly, or unlimited monthly. That's why this one is capped at 4 people, because it's unlimited, and I will review your decks. I'll tell you what's great about them, what you could change, etc. I could just talk shit about your deck if that's what you want me to do, or I could help you build up your deck. Whatever you would like, I'm happy to help out if you guys are going to be helping support the channel and stuff. All of this money helps support my family, helps support the channel to be able to finance us going down to those kind of big events and stuff, helps us, be able to test out stuff. There's just so much stuff that it helps, and it's just amazing. And thank you so much for everyone who has, whether you've just watched the videos, whether you've shared them, whether you're supporting us financially, all of that stuff is hugely appreciated. You can also just buy a once-off deck review if you would like as well. So the links for that's going to be down in the comments. Please, if you feel like it, feel free to support. If not, just subscribe and share and like the video and stuff. So let's get into it. Obviously, we're going to be talking about it in context with the Aminatou Veil Piercer precon, but this is not just to do with this precon. As I said, you could apply this to literally everything, right? You could apply it to if you're building a new deck, or if you are starting, to upgrade a precon or anything. Now, I will talk about the Aminatou one because I think it's important to talk about this before I get into why I've chosen the examples I've chosen, but it's overall, as I said, you could apply it to anything. So the Aminatou one here is all around basically wanting to top deck miracles, top deck enchantments, and then all those enchantments will have miracle. So at the beginning of upkeep, we're going to surveil 2 at the beginning of our upkeep, and then you have your draw step after that, and then you'll draw a card. Each enchantment card in your hand will have Miracle. So basically the first enchantment that we draw on any turn is going to have Miracle, and you can play it for 4 less. Now, I will just remind you, because that's an important rule there, which I didn't realize originally, but most people, just take that into mind. You can reveal and cast a card with Miracle on any turn, not just your own, if it's the first card you've drawn that turn. That means that if you draw a card and the first card you draw is an enchantment on somebody else's turn, you can Miracle that. So that's an incredibly important thing to kind of keep in mind here as we're looking at upgrading the deck. Again, we're not necessarily just applying it to this, but we're going to use that to kind of show you the examples. So when I'm having a look at the deck, I wanted to kind of keep in mind a few things. One, I want big enchantments that I don't mind having cost reduction on, right? Like stuff like in the actual precon, we've got like Extravagant Replication. It's going to cost us 6 if we don't have that reduction, but it's huge. Shark Typhoon, one with the multiverse, that kind of stuff. So we want to have essentially a few different kind of moving parts in the deck to enable this. So the first one I kind of looked at was we're going to end up with enchantments within our graveyard, whether it's people removing them or whether it's from Aminatou, we could surveil them into there. Right. So I wanted to have ways to be able to get those back from the graveyard and then put them back into our deck, preferably at the top of our deck. The other thing that we wanted to look at was card draw, and then being able to do that kind of top deck manipulation. Maybe we want to have some kind of like tutoring up as well. So like enlightened tutor and stuff. So we're going to go through a few different examples here to kind of keep it in mind, I'm not going to say that again. So looking in the actual precon, one of the most important cards, or not necessarily most important, one of the cards I absolutely loved in here was Hall of Heliod's Generosity. So this is going to let us take an enchantment that is in our graveyard and then put it back on the top of our library. So a couple different things that does. One, it sets up being able to use that in the future if it's our first card that we draw, to be able to miracle it out, right? Really, really great. Secondly, as I said, it's recursion to the top of our library, which is really important to kind of keep in mind. So what I do when I'm kind of looking at this is I look at this card, right? And I'm like, I want cards that are like this. I want cards that allow me to be able to put cards from my graveyard back into my library, preferably on the top, but I'm okay if they go, elsewhere. So I'm looking at Hall of Heliod's Generosity and saying, I would love cards like that. So this is going to be called using a tool called the Scryfall Tagger. So Scryfall Tagger is essentially a tool that is putting tags onto the cards, mostly by the community, right? The community are the ones who tag them up and allow us to be able to do this and be able to essentially be able to search and via this. So looking at the Hall of Heliod's Generosity, we can look at these and we can figure out what exactly is important from here. So restock enchantment, that's the thing. So restock, so if we look up restock MTG, essentially restock is a card that is returning things from our graveyard to our hand. But we don't want to restock to our hand. We want to restock to our library, which is okay. So I'm having a look at the tags down here and we can bring stuff up. So restock enchantment, we can see that there is a couple different ones of that. So Lagona Band Storyteller. This is essentially exactly what we want. So I'm going to zoom in here. This is essentially exactly what we want because it is going to let us take a target enchantment from our graveyard and put it onto the top of our library. Perfect. However, that is just if it was an enchantment. Purely if it was an enchantment. But what if we wanted to restock anything? We wanted to restock anything to the top. Down here, we can see what it inherits. These are other tags that, because of it having it, so because it's got restock enchantment, that's like a subcategory of just restock altogether. So if we go and have a look at the restock one, you can see here, boom, there is 201 taggings for this. Now, not all of these are going to be useful, obviously. First of all, the colors aren't going to be useful. Some of them, you know, are going to be completely the wrong colors, or it's just going to go to a random spot within our library, or it's going to go within a random, like, you know, it's going to go into our library and then get shuffled or to the bottom of our library. That's not what we want. But we can go in here and we can go like, you know, Oracle top, right? We could just put in Oracle top. So that means it's going to go to the top. That's great. Let's change our commander. Our commander is going to be, what is it? Blue, black, white. So now we've got everything that is only within blue, black, white. It does contain the word top. Now, I've just put top instead of top of your library or anything like that because, like, it could be potentially different. But now we've got down to 59 different cards. So instants and sorceries, one we can ignore. Now, there's other ways to be able to obviously kind of narrow this down more. Like if we did it so, like having a look at it, like we can just narrow it down by essentially just either like minus, we could go minus instant. Oh, minus O instant. So this is going to get rid of any that are restocking instants, for example, or we could go minus O creature. So restocking creatures, boom. Now we've kind of gone down and we've got, so this one's artifacts. We don't need artifacts. Right? We don't want to restock artifacts. We just want to be able to restock anything, really. So we just kind of can go through now and kind of figure it out. So this is just narrowing it down to allow us to be able to easily find cards that are similar to this one that are doing it. Now, a couple things. You don't need to necessarily go through and find it via this direction. So if you could just remember what the O tag is, like the Oracle tag, if you just wanted to just look up like restock, you could just do it that way. You don't need to type it in that way necessarily. It's just the way I've kind of remembered to do it if I'm looking up for cards that are similar. So another thing that we kind of got in here, or I think it's in the precon. Is it in the precon? Yeah. Another thing we've got in here is Brainstorm. Right? Brainstorm is a really, really great card for this because one, it allows us to draw cards as an instant. Two, it allows us to be able to restock or re-put cards on the top of our land. On the top of our library. So we can put those in a way that is going to allow us to be able to manipulate it in the future. So some additional top deck manipulation. So if we have a look at Jace the Mind Sculptor, well, technically, like if you bring it up, so if I go, if you want EDH Scryfall, and then go down here to Scryfall Tagger, we can see this here. So this is showing us the Brainstorm page. So you can see here, we've got a couple different ones. Like if it's got the arrow here, it's referenced by, which means it's very similar. Sorry, it's like a, it's referenced by, so if we go to, sorry, give me a sec to just think. If we go to the Brain Surge one, it's saying that it's a similar kind of card to it. I believe that's essentially how it works there. Or there's like actually literally similar to. So it's like Ponder is very similar to this. Ponder is like a actually Ponder is probably more powerful within the deck. Or Preordain. Like you can see other cards that are similar to it directly. However, you can also see here that this is a tag on it that is just Brainstorm. So now we've brought up and we can see all the cards that have the tag Brainstorm. And if you click on it, it actually explains what the tag is as well. Draw a number of cards, then put cards on your hand on the top of your library in any order. So you can see, like, you know, it's going to bring up things like, go Dream Cache here, draw cards, and then do this. Jace the Mind Sculptor, which is the one that I had brought up here, which if you go, like if you were looking up Jace and you looked it up, then you can literally see like, here, Brainstorm. So it's showing you that that's essentially what one of his abilities is very similar to. So this is really nice. I love this idea. However, I've just kind of figured out that I should just go have a look at Ponder as what was it? Ponder? No, Preordain. Preordain. Was it? Which one was I looking at then? No, Ponder. So if I go to Ponder here, we can look at this and we can be like, okay, this is actually probably better. Like if we do Soothsaying instead, because this is looking at the top and then rearranging them the way we want. Not necessarily going to be great because not all of these are going to draw a card afterwards like that does. That's just rearranging. If we look at, we've got like Pondering Mage, Omen here. So it's better than Omen, a Pondering Mage there too. So if we played a Pondering Mage in here, potentially. Oh, that's actually interesting. Portent. Look at the top 3 of target library, then put them back. Then you may have that player shuffle, draw a card at the beginning of your next. That actually, yeah, is Portent in the precon? It's probably in the precon. Yeah, it's already in the precon. Doesn't matter. That's probably why it's. So essentially, what I'm looking at here is just cards that are similar to it. That's what I'm kind of getting at here is just utilizing this. So even like within here, we've got like the Moonblessed Cleric, right? When it enters, tutor something up from an enchantment and then put it on the top. So we can go look at a couple different ways that this works is 1, tutor enchantment, or 2, tutor to top. Tutor to top is very powerful in this deck because we're going to be able to tutor the top and then potentially draw. And then we can make this into our commander. So then it's just going for commander. We don't want land. So that's getting rid of all the land ones there. So like a cruel tutor here. Search your deck for any card, shuffle it, and then put it on top. This is basically like a worse vampiric tutor, right? And if we go here, we can look at Imperial Seal there, tutor card, etc. So there's just lots of ways that we can kind of use this to, like Insatiable Avarice. It's one that I completely forgot about, then saw it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to add that into my library, into my deck now. Really good. So this is just it's just such a powerful tool to utilize. Just being able to know how to kind of go through, look up cards, be able to kind of look at the different oracle tags and stuff to be able to manipulate them to be able to find the cards that you want that are going to work within your deck. So if I go and have a look, let's bring up another example of a different deck here. So just because I think that, like, I don't know if it's kind of working for you guys or what here. So let's look up. I've got like, I'm just going to look at my decks, my actual decks here. Let's have a look at Balin. So if I'm looking at my Balin deck here, if I want cards that are similar to like Perch Protection, no, not Perch Protection. Let's look at cards similar to Parallel Lives. It's going to be obviously, just the obvious ones here, but at least it's going to allow us to be able to kind of look it up and then be able to, I don't know if there's a way to just go straight to Scryfall from there. Right, so here, and we can just look at like token doublers. Or, yeah, token doublers here. So this is all of our token doublers. And from there, we can also just cut out ones that aren't going to work in our deck. So, like we know that Kaya doesn't fit, Adrix doesn't fit. There's only like, 12 of them. So it's not a huge amount to be able to kind of sift through everything. Like, Rise of the Redeemed. I don't know why I haven't got that in there. I should probably add that in there. I've got Ojatark in there. I've got Parallel Lives. Primal Vigor I could potentially add into. Doubling Season, I don't have one. And I don't want to buy it because it's too expensive. Same with Anointed. But it's just, yeah. Anyway, I just love this tool. I think that it's really important to kind of just keep in mind. There's just a huge amount, or even like here, look, if we go here, we can see token increases as well, which is really cool. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you think. Are you using this? Is this helping you? Do you think that, you know, a more in-depth guide onto it for each thing would be great? I hope you guys had a wonderful day and goodbye.